Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Ah,
Oh.
Werewolves of London.
You're a dork.
All right, hey,
Okay.
Brad and Christina with Pause and Effect here. This is a real-time update for the end of October 2019.
What are you doing?
So since the end of September and our last real-time update, we actually went to Seattle and saw the Seahawks
Go Hawks.
in an awesome game against the Los Angeles Rams now. I almost said St. Louis Rams. The Los Angeles Rams now, and the Hawks won that game barely by about a foot of a missed field goal in the last few seconds by the Rams. So we were very excited. It was a great game. And then after that, we took off and we headed down I-5 through Oregon and Washington, Oregon into California. I had some meetings in San Diego, so we found some pretty cool boondocking spaces along the way and saw some great scenery. Drove through some really
Crappy
cool
roads.
areas. Huh?
Crappy roads.
Oh yeah, the roads were
I-5.
when we hit California.
Yes.
The roads, I-5 was
Horrible.
not bad in Washington and Oregon, but there were parts in California, I think after Shasta Lake, that got really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the notable things that we did along the way was we stopped in Huntington Beach and found a kind of secretive, cool boondocking spot there. When we did our research for boondocking in Huntington Beach, when we did our research for Huntington Beach boondocking places, there was literally nothing on the apps that we saw, right?
Yes.
And we checked out a few places,
Can I help you?
and all of them had signs. We checked into some of the RV parks. They were all full because they're right on the beach and they're beautiful. They were all full, so we ended up finding a spot.
What?
And I don't remember the location, but we've got some footage of it, and we'll share where to boondock in Huntington Beach on an upcoming episode. But the other notable thing about Huntington Beach was we found our flat tow vehicle there, Sprocket, and we're not going to reveal what that is now because in an upcoming video you'll get to see and meet Sprocket up close and personal.
Toad.
So we then went on to San Diego. So I had some meetings in San Diego and we found a Thousand Trails location to stay at out near Otay Lakes, and we got to spend some time riding our Harleys out there, which was really cool. It was a pretty neat resort, I would call it, because they did have a lot of stuff to do there. It's not on any water, it's not on the lakes, but the lakes aren't that very far away. It's very dry out in that area, as you can imagine, Southern California. But they have lots of activities. It's kind of secluded, and it's pretty close to the border of Mexico, which, it didn't really bother me, but I guess the helicopters and the patrol vehicles coming through for the border patrol was interesting, to say the least. So my favorite part really of that drive, the scenery changed every couple hours of drive. The scenery would just change. I mean, you had a bunch of cactuses, different types of cactuses. You would see the cactus type change, cacti type, I guess. I don't know how to say that correctly. I'm not a botanist or whatever a cactus person is. But anyway, you saw different changes in how many of a particular type of plant or cactus there was, the types of trees, whether there were trees or not. There was the sand dune area that was really cool that we drove through. The little unique thing about that was it was a bombing zone.
Yes.
So right there across the interstate, if you turn off, there's these signs that says, do they
Do
say
not enter.
bombing, active bombing or something like that? So it's some kind of military operations going on there. We didn't see it, but I can only imagine what that would have been like if you're driving along and start seeing bombing going on off in the distance. But that was that part. And then the coolest part for me was the volcanic area in New Mexico. I had no idea, and it looks very similar to some of the lava flow on Maui from Mount Haleakala, except I think this flow in New Mexico is like 100,000 years older than the flow from Maui. And then after that, we actually stopped in Pawhuska. So Pawhuska is where Pioneer Woman and the ranch and the mercantile and everything is. And this town was really cool. We actually extended our stay and stayed there for 2 days instead of just one, and got some Harley rides in. And we'll have an episode around Pawhuska.
Friendly town.
Yeah, it was really. It's one of my favorite experiences so far from
Me too.
RV.
And not just the the pioneer woman or the Drummond businesses, but I mean, there's so many other cute little boutiques there
Mm-hmm.
as well. And like I said, everybody that we experienced, or ran into in the mercantile or at the pizza
Mm-hmm.
was just so friendly. So
Yeah, and the RV park was just a couple miles outside of town, and they were very friendly too. It's
Yeah, they
nothing,
were.
nothing special. It's really reasonable, $30 a day.
Yeah, it's I mean,
Only about 20 spots probably, so it's really small and intimate. But
there's I mean, they have washer dryer. It's not like it's fancy
No.
amenities, but trees,
and 2 miles.
Yeah.
Everything else was
Yep.
farther away that might have, maybe a better experience. I wouldn't say experience. Maybe have more amenities, but to me, this was good.
This
It
was
wood-
perfect.
it was wooded and exactly what we like in an RV park with some nice trees and stuff like that.
Yep.
So we got some Harley riding in there too, which was fun.
Yes.
And
That was a
then
bonus.
once we left there, we had one more stop, and that was in Uranus, Missouri. Yes, it is a place. I'm not going to spoil anything on this video. No jokes on this video, but there'll be a very pun-filled segment on Uranus, Missouri coming up soon. So then we got back to Missouri, but when we got back to Missouri, we we couldn't go to our house because our house was still rented.
Again.
So we had blocked it out on November 2nd, which is tomorrow. And so we'll be back in our house for the first time in a few months tomorrow. And for this year, we've probably been in our house less than 3 to 4 weeks the entire year. We're at Babbler Park again. This is our third time at Babbler State Park, and we really like the secludedness of the RV park. We spent a weekend at my parents to get some visit again and help them, and then we came back to this park, and as I said, we're going to be in our house tomorrow. So that's really the end of our real-time update. We've got some cool things planned for 2020. So one thing that we definitely are going to do, we definitely plan to do, is an Airbnb VRBO episode, and we may even try that with live stream. Because that's a big topic of what to do with your house when you sell it. So we plan to have that VRBO, Airbnb discussion very soon. Sorry for all the delays there, but that's just kind of how it is. Things moving in a lot of directions. We try to take as much content as possible. We've actually recorded the Airbnb and VRBO one a couple of times, but we weren't really happy with the camera angles or the audio, or actually the content. So we'll be doing that again pretty soon.
I think live will maybe be better, so that way people can ask questions and we can just address them then.
Yeah, we'll have some topics that we come with, like maybe spend the first 15, 20 minutes with some of the topics we want to get out there, and then let people ask questions around that process and anything they want to ask around Airbnb, VRBO, what to do with your home, kind of thing. So 2 other things that I softly have planned, and I'm not sure how these are going to work. Actually, there's 3 that I have in mind that I've been thinking about. One is because we haven't had as much focus on the charities as we want, and part of that's just been scheduling. It's hard to get, when you're only going to be in an area for a day or 2, it's hard to get a charity that can meet that day and that time, especially with my work schedule or whatever as well. So we're considering, we've tested out a podcast approach, so we may launch a podcast sometime between now and the first of next year that will be focused on talking to charities or maybe other RVers that are doing stuff for charity, and just bringing awareness to these charity organizations and what we can do to help others, help the environment, help animals, is really our approach. Another thing that I want to focus, or really want to do at the end of this year, is get as many of you that are RV travelers, or even if you're just going on vacation, or even if you just live in an area, and would like to connect with people that are traveling through, living this type of lifestyle or similar, we want to get your information so we can put it together in a kind of a plan for 2020 on where we're going to be each month, where you're going to be each month, or where you live, and then kind of push it all together and maybe start making some connections with people to do some meetups in some of those areas along the way as our paths cross. So that's really cool. And then the third thing that I want to do, or I'm thinking about doing for 2020, which think would be pretty nice. It ties into the Airbnb as well. People often ask, how much does it cost, or how do you afford this lifestyle? Well, when we started, we didn't have jobs. We basically, I left my job. We decided to go do this because I was frustrated with my job and the fact that it was not a work from home job. I've been used to work from home jobs, and we missed the opportunity to travel during all that time. So I just said, heck, let's just go travel. And basically, we hit the road. And I didn't have a job at that point, and so we were on a very tight budget, and the Airbnb income was important to us. And so what I thought I would do is in 2020 keep track of our Airbnb or our passive income that we get from Airbnb or anything else that we do. We've got some other things working as well, but not my income from my main source of income. Keep that separate to just kind of indicate the income that we get, and then also the costs specific to our RV travel and maintaining of the Airbnb. So basically you could see what our costs are to do this lifestyle and what our revenue is if we've got one property that's paid off. Not our case, but if you have a property that's paid off, or whether it's paid off or not, you can see the income potential that can come from that. And I thought that would be kind of cool to kind of track that on a monthly basis and show people, kind of what the budget would be or what reality is with doing full-time travel and having maybe one rental property to fund your lifestyle. So until Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving, and we will do an update heading into December. Aloha.
Aloha.